Hello and welcome. I am Teacher Josh, and in this video, we'll be diving into a comprehensive review of the course, The Survey of English and American Literature. So first, we'll walk through 10 multiple choice questions specifically designed to assess your understanding of key concepts, themes, and authors from the course. So for each question, you will have 5 seconds to choose your answer, and after that, we would determine the answers to those questions. As well as I would be clarifying why the other distractors are incorrect, in contrast to the correct answers. So without further ado, let's get started. So with the first question, in the epic poem, Beowulf, Grendel, a cursed fiend and enemy of the Danes, is said to be a descendant of which biblical character? A. Ham, B. Cain, or C. Canaan? You have 5 seconds. Your timer starts now. Alright, time's up. So the correct answer is option B, Cain. So, why option B? Well, in the epic poem, Grendel is said to be a monster descendant from Cain, the biblical character who committed the first murder by killing his brother Abel. So because of this grave sin, Cain and his lineage, or as it is written in the epic poem, Cain's clan, were cursed by God. So Grendel, as one of Cain's offspring, inherits this curse, and is marked by his exile from human society. Grendel is destined to live in darkness and bring destruction. So why are the other options incorrect? Well, Ham was one of Noah's sons in the book of Genesis. So while he did act disrespectfully towards his father by seeing his nakedness, Ham himself was not cursed. Instead, Noah cursed Ham's son, Canaan. And so there is no direct biblical connection between Ham, Canaan, and Cain. So therefore, neither Ham nor Canaan is connected to Grendel or Cain. Alright, so let's proceed to the next question. So for question number 2, which statement best defines the concept of the American dream as commonly understood in literature? A. An ideal that the United States is a land of dreamers where anyone can achieve success and improve their social standing just by dreaming about it. B. An ideal that the United States is a land of abundance where success and happiness are guaranteed without effort for everyone who lives there. And C. An ideal that the United States is a land of opportunity where anyone can achieve success and improve their social standing through hard work and by having the will to succeed. Alright, your timer starts now. Alright, so the correct answer is option C. So what is the American dream? So the American dream is an ideal that the United States is a land of opportunity that allows the possibility of upward mobility, freedom, and equality for people of all classes who work hard and have the will to succeed. For example, in The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, in the whole premise of the book, there lies in the whole premise of the book lies in the framework of wealth and the ideal of the American dream. So why are the other options incorrect? Well, in option A, it says that anyone can achieve success and improve their social standing just by dreaming about it. Well, that is clearly passive wishful thinking, and it contradicts the ideal, which is rooted in action and the will to succeed. And in option B, This also contradicts the ideal because it implies rather entitlement without effort. So let's proceed to the next question. So with question number 3, in Elizabeth Browning's poem, The Cry of the Children, being reflective of societal changes happening in England at that time, or at the time of the Romantic period, what is the dramatic situation being described in the poem? So A, it condemns the horrors that children faced during the Industrial Revolution as they were forced to work before they could even speak. B, it portrays the collective outcry of oppressed citizens demanding political reform during the Industrial Revolution. And C, it condemns the dangerous work the middle-class workers had to endure at subsistence wages during the Industrial Revolution. All right, your timer starts now. All right, time's up. So the correct answer is option A. So this poem primarily condemns child labor during the Industrial Revolution in England. So that is why option A is correct. So why are the other options incorrect? Well, option B focuses on political reform or the general outcry of oppressed citizens. So again, this poem primarily condemns child labor. And option C, although during this period the middle-class workers had to endure at subsistence wages, still the poem is primarily focused on condemning child labor. So let's proceed to the next question. So with question number 4, in 𝗂𝗏𝗵's poem, The Disappointment, what is the great disappointment that is experienced in the poem? A, Lysander finding out that Chloris is infertile. B, Chloris wanting to keep her chastity rejects Lysander's request for lovemaking. And C, Lysander's impotence at the moment of sexual climax, leaving both him and Chloris frustrated and emotionally distressed. Alright, your timer starts now. Alright, so the correct answer is option C. So in 𝗂𝗏𝗵's poem, The Disappointment, the great disappointment is the young male Lysander and his impotence during a sexual encounter with a young woman named Chloris, who is a virgin. So after this left Lysander ashamed and Chloris distressed. So why are the other options incorrect? Well, in option A, it wasn't mentioned in the poem that Chloris was infertile. And in option B, although initially Chloris resists Lysander's motives, she eventually yielded, and her reluctance is not the great disappointment described in the poem. Alright, so let's proceed to the next question. So for the 5th question, what key mindset enabled America to become the first of the European colonies to separate successfully from its motherland? A strong belief in individual rights, religious freedom, and breaking away from a monarch system of government. B, a strong belief in expanding British influence across the colonies. And C, a strong belief in forming a new religious movement while remaining politically loyal to the British Empire. You have 5 seconds. Your timer starts now. Excuse me. Alright, so the correct answer is option A. Well, because many of the British North American colonies were founded by settlers who risked their lives to escape religious persecution in Europe. Colonies like those in New England, Pennsylvania, and Maryland were explicitly established as plantations of religion. So settlers came not just for economic opportunities, but to freely practice their deeply held religious beliefs. So over time, these colonies developed a strong sense of independence and self-governance, for which they came to believe rather that true liberty required not only religious freedom but also political freedom from a monarch rule, which is the British rule, which led to their separation from Britain and the formation of the United States, or thus the formation of the United States. So why are the other options incorrect? Well, in option B, this mindset is actually of those who wanted to remain committed to Britain's colonial ambitions. So this clearly contradicts the Americans' goal to separate from British rule. And in option C, again, they wanted to break away from a monarch rule, having full autonomy religiously and politically. All right, so let's proceed to question number 6. So with the 6th question, in Emily Dickinson's poem, Because I Could Not Stop for Death, who kindly stopped for the speaker in the poem? A coachman, B, death, or C, time? Your timer starts now. All right, so the correct answer is option B. All right. So, why is option B correct? Well, in the poem, death is personified as a gentleman who kindly stopped for the speaker and taken for a ride in his carriage. So why are the other options incorrect? Well, in option A, it doesn't specify, obviously, who is the coachman, where in fact it is clear that in the poem, death is personified as a gentleman who is also the coachman who kindly stopped for the speaker and taken for a ride in his carriage. And in option C, time is not the figure who stops for the speaker. All right, let's proceed to the 7th question. What is the main idea of the poem Invictus by William Ernest Henley? A, to be a humble servant portraying a Christ-like character. B, to be a menace to society. Or C, to be unconquerable or unbreakable in the face of adversity. Your timer starts now. All right, the correct answer is option C. So, the title, hence the title Invictus, it is Latin for unconquerable or undefeated. And in the poem, this is clearly seen from the speaker in the face of adversity. So why are the other options incorrect? Well, in the poem, the speaker was not portrayed to be a humble servant, nor to be a menace to society. It just focuses on the speaker's inner strength, mastering his fate, and being the captain of his soul. All right, so let's proceed to the 8th question. In D.H. Lawrence's short story, The Rocking Horse Winner, which does Paul's mother believe is more important, luck or wealth? A, wealth, because she believes that it's better to be born wealthy than lucky. B, luck, because she believes that luck is what causes you to have money. And C, both, because she believes that luck and wealth are the same. Your timer starts now. All right, time's up. So the correct answer is option B. So in D.H. Lawrence, The Rocking Horse Winner, it is explicitly stated there in the short story that being lucky is better than being rich, as luck is what leads to wealth. That's what Paul's mother explicitly said. So if I could recall, she clearly said, or she stated rather, that it's what causes you to have money. If you're lucky, you have money. That's why it's better to be born rich, or lucky rather, than rich. If you're rich, you may lose your money. But if you're lucky, you will always get more money. So, why are the other options incorrect? Again, she explicitly states in the short story that it's better to be born lucky than rich, making a clear distinction between luck and wealth. And clearly, for Paul's mother, luck is more important than wealth and are not equal to each other. Okay, so let's proceed to the ninth question. What is the main idea of William Shakespeare's The Seven Ages of Man? A. It compares the world with a stage in a theater where life has its entrances and exits, where people are born, live through several stages, and eventually die. B. It explains how men face emotional and physical struggles throughout the stages of life. And C. It shows how women, as merely players in this world, manipulate men throughout the stages of life. So, you have 5 seconds. Your timer starts now. Alright, so the correct answer is option A. So the central idea of William Shakespeare's The Seven Ages of Man is in a metaphorical way, where life is like a play where human beings play a part in it, going through 7 distinct stages, from birth to old age and eventually death. So why are the other options incorrect? Well, the poem is not centered on men's emotional and physical struggles. And while in option C, it says that women as merely players in this world, which is correct as it is stated in the poem. However, it does not present women manipulating men throughout the stages of life. That is why this option is also incorrect. Alright, we're down to our final question. So for the 10th question, the 2010 film, Easy A, was loosely inspired from which classic novel? A. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. B. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. And C. The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Your timer starts now. Alright, so the correct answer is option C. So, a bit of trivia. The 2010 film Easy A, starred by Emma Stone, is loosely based on the classic novel The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne, where Hester Prynne is a woman who is shunned by her community for adultery. So we could say that Easy A is a modern take on what women still have to go through to this day when it comes to having their character judged by the public. So the idea is that Easy A, the film Easy A, with its theme on public shaming because of what someone has done wrong. That is what they got from the Scarlet Letter, from the novel The Scarlet Letter. They took inspiration from. So why are the other options incorrect? Well, of course, those are 2 different novels, and Easy A is only loosely inspired from the novel The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. So, that about wraps up our review of the Survey of English and American Literature. Once again, I am Teacher Josh. Thank you for joining me, and see you next time!